Hi, I'm Claire. Welcome to Journey to Safety, the podcast where we explore the challenges and opportunities in creating safer, more inclusive public transport for everyone. Today, we'll focus on the lived experience of disability hate crime on transport, where it's like, what needs to change, and how we can all contribute to safer journeys. Our guest, Paul, is someone with personal experience of this issue, and we'll be unpacking their story, exploring their insights, and considering actionable steps for improvement. Thank you so much, Paul, for joining us today.
You are very welcome, and it's great to be involved and hopefully help people to understand that they are not alone.
Thank you very much. So let's jump straight in. Can you share your experience with hate crime on public transport and how it unfolded?
Yeah, so my experience with hate crime on public transport came in the form of, unfortunately, a few people spotting my sunflower and neurodiversity lanyards and assuming that I was the easy target to victimise. This left me, unfortunately, being surrounded and interrogated by them to the stage where I had to get off halfway through my planned journey just to feel safe and reassured that I could go about my day without being attacked or victimised by people just because of my hidden conditions. This left me, for half of the day at least, feeling edgy and quite frustrated and upset really, because I wasn't expecting it, but I also wasn't expecting the people in the background not to help me either, because a lot of them just overlooked it and went about their average day of looking at the phones, looking at newspapers and ignoring what was right in front of them. And that alone kind of scared me as well.
Well, imagine. So, how did this experience change the way you feel about using public transport, both immediately, afterward, and over time?
So the experience within itself, it really made me question, do I have to take different routes compared to what I'm used to? But that can impact me quite a lot due to being neurodivergent, and it's a sudden change to routine, and that put quite a bit of strain on me. It also made me think as well, if they can do it to a person with hidden conditions, what are they doing to people with visible health issues like those in wheelchairs, with Zimmer frames, even the elderly with walking sticks?
So, do you think enough is being done to raise awareness about the challenges faced by disability passengers on public transport?
I honestly don't believe enough is being done, which is really scary because the amount of people that use public transport, and it would be great to know the statistics on how many of the people that use transport and need it daily have got visible and hidden disabilities, because I do believe the figures for that would actually be quite high.
So, in your opinion, are transport staff equipped to respond to the incidents of hate crime effectively?
I strongly believe that transport staff don't have the adequate training for spotting signs of like people that are being victimised due to their conditions. I understand that they are under a lot of strain with public transport, passengers getting on and off quite frequently, but I do think they need more in-depth training of spotting people with conditions. Or, for example, someone with diabetes, if they go into a hypo, they straight away think that they're intoxicated and don't understand. Just if them staff had that bit more understanding and that sympathy, it'd be really nice and reassuring to the passengers, and I'm sure it'd draw more people back to public transport as well, because they would feel more confident in travelling.
Definitely. So, what role can fellow passengers play in creating a safer, more inclusive atmosphere during travel?
I think the role that other passengers could play, which would help people with various conditions, is to not be so judgmental and be more kind. Because, for example, if someone I've seen get on a bus has a wheelchair, you'll have people stood in that area and they will not move. And you've got to fight for that spot which is actually designated for people within the wheelchairs. And you shouldn't have to, especially in today's day and age. They should be more friendly more alert, and if anything, just be good humans again.
Does sound like a wonderful plan. Definitely. So, if you could suggest one change that wouldn't require significant funding, what practical steps could be taken to address this issue?
I think things as simple as just changing even like the silhouettes that we're used to seeing every day of as soon as someone says disability, it's the one with someone sat in a wheelchair or someone with a walking stick. But there's nothing there to help raise awareness for hidden conditions. So you could have no mobility aids. Like myself, I have no mobility aids. I can walk everywhere fine, do a lot of hiking, but I've still got these conditions, and this is what people don't realise or understand. So I think even just changing the labels on the public transport, it might help raise people's awareness and make them rethink if they could be having a bad day, or they could have a certain condition which affects them to be the way they are.
So, how important is it to include the voices of people with lived experience in shaping transport policies and practices?
I strongly believe by involving people with lived experience, people will actually learn a lot more than they will just by something that's printed off on a bit of paper like in typical courses, because everyone's story on their conditions is different to each other, so no one really suffers with the same condition exactly the same as someone else that has that condition, and what works for one person doesn't work for another. So by them being able to interact with real human beings rather than technology at the times, it gives them more insight to what really goes on in real life.
So, what would you say is the most impactful step passengers and transport operators can take today to create a safer space for everyone?
I would just say with that, I believe the steps they could take is just be basically more open-minded, so they understand that everyone's different. We all go through different struggles in life as well. Not to immediately assume that someone's on taking drugs or they're intoxicated. Know of as well of if they have like for me, I wear my sunflower lanyard. So usually on the end of the lanyard you have your medical card as well. So it's your way of helping people if you do go into bad time, and it's their key to helping you. And just take note really of what's around them.
Definitely. Thanks, Paul. Now, Paul, you are writing a book about people's experiences with ADHD, sharing their stories to inspire and support others. Your kindness also shines through in the pocket hugs you leave in the park for the children and adults. Such a beautiful way to bring a smile to people's faces. Can you share a little bit about your book and what inspired you to write it, and your pocket hugs, because I just adore them?
Yeah, so what's inspired me to write the book was throughout life, even through school and in the workplace, I've been told I'll have support for both ADHD and autism, and I never really got it. That for me made everyday life quite a struggle because I was too afraid to ask for help because of the backlash that I get from people. It's made keeping the average 9 to 5 job difficult throughout life, and I wanted to know how it affects other people. So I've spoken to people who are still in high school, who have just started college, people who have got really high paying careers, and one guy is actually a millionaire, and even he's given me his story of how neurodiversity affects him. And the book is aimed at helping people understand that both ADHD and autism, it's not just a child thing. And for people that have retired, it's helping them understand this was also back in them days, but unfortunately you was made to feel like you had mental health issues because there wasn't enough understanding. So it's helping to re-educate people, but also within the book it gives people little tips for various scenarios, how a neurotypical would deal with a certain scenario, to how someone with ADHD or autism would deal, so the signs to look out for. But at the very bottom, it gives people tips from what I've learned from people's lived experience, what helps calm them down and reground them. Because what works for one person will not work for another. So it's kind of like a mini tick list of try this for that person or try that. If it doesn't work, at least you've tried. Try the next step,
Yeah,
and hopefully they will find the right one for that individual.
sounds amazing. Come on, Get the pocket
And
hugs out. Get
with
the pocket
the
hugs
pocket
out.
hugs, so for me personally, for as long as I can remember, especially through school, because I was always called lazy and stupid due to not being able to concentrate with the ADHD and the autism, plus having quite a lot of absence seizures with the epilepsy, and then words really stuck to me. And throughout life, I've always felt what a stranger says to me is more impactful than the people I've known for years, so like family, long-time friends. Within my mental health struggles, it's always been words that have come from complete strangers who don't even know you. They're just passing you, or it could be in a coffee shop. Or my unfortunate events was around alcohol, so I was in a lot of pubs. But just what they say to you, it hits you kind of like when you feel a song lyric. So when I start doing a lot of walking, there was a lot of fly tipping. So I've upcycled the fly tipping into pocket hooks, and I leave them on my random walks because you can go somewhere where other people might not think of going. And I think if I went there in that condition, what is someone else thinking? And it's just nice to know that if you're not there in person, you've still got that impactful little wooden tags for people. So it possibly helps. And like it has, probably I'd say 95% of the time, it's made people rethink of doing anything to put them into even more darker situation. It's made them rethink, and the feedback I've got has just been absolutely amazing. So a lot of the areas where I put them are like conservation areas, so I thought I'd get a really bad backlash. And if anything, it's gone the complete opposite way. Whereas people have said, oh, finding these tags, it's really made my day and it really perked me up. And just that feedback, it's just like what took me about 10 seconds to make has made much more of an impact on that person. And it's one of them feelings, it just makes you feel valued, and not only that, it makes you feel like you've made a massive impact on someone as well.
And you surely have, because you certainly have to me. I can tell you, after meeting you, our Leeds focus group, wow, your work is just amazing. So thank you, Paul, for joining us on this important conversation. The stories and ideas shared today remind us that everyone has a role to play in fostering safer journeys, whether it's through awareness, action, or allyship. Public transport should be a space for everyone, free of fear and full of respect. Together we can make it so. Be sure to tune in next time on Journey to Safety as we continue these essential discussions. Take care and travel safe.